around again.
You can join too, Autumn.
I kind of think it's absurd. It says to help them to realize their dreams, in my opinion. It feels like blaming the victim to me. You're not doing well because you haven't realized what your dream is, and I want to help you to realize that.
I like that. Other thoughts? Gloria, what do you think about this definition?
So I think that even if, and I agree with helping them to realize their dream is a little, I can't say that it's a choice of words that I would use, because it doesn't really, sound realistic. But I also think that in order to promote, help them to realize their dreams, in order to promote well-being and social justice, I just don't think it fit.
Which part doesn't fit about that?
Helping them to realize their dream in order to promote well-being, social justice, economic equality. I don't think that that part, all of it, I think it just needs to be revised, reworded.
Anja, do you have any?
Yeah, I'm looking at both definitions, trying to look at them at the same time. And just along the lines of the comments around this helping to realize the dreams, I still get that same vibe, so to speak, from accessing strengths, intention of accessing and utilizing strengths. It's this undercurrent of unawareness of the people that's being helped that's sticking out for me, as if I would like to see some acknowledgement of the fact that the folks that are on the receiving end of the support have already come to the table with a level or a sense of awareness, and some assets, and that our role is to kind of facilitate the, I don't know, I'm not sure how to say it, which is probably why we're here, but yeah, but I don't know if I'm making sense, but I just get this undercurrent of, there's a lack of awareness from both definitions, that we're trying to help them become aware. I just feel like sometimes folks are already aware and maybe just need some guidance or facilitation of processes or something.
I'm feeling like we need to add something along the lines of having a dialogue, a conversation.
Yeah, more collaborative feel.
Yeah, I'm seeing that it's missing the entire purpose of what a community psychologist does. We're there to bring people together, and I don't see in either of these definitions where we're saying that we're joining the entire community to then start promoting things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like the power is in the collaboration, because it's a process where both the community psychologists and the people in the community that we're working with, we're both learning, we're both growing, and I just don't see that reflected. It seems a little patriarchal.
I was kind of like, I guess I'm intrigued by the term capacity with these things, because I feel like it, to me at least, it implies that there is something already there and that it's building on that. But I was curious about what other people thought about that interpretation and if that was like a valuable part, I guess, of the older definition. Sorry. Oh, I can't see both of them now, so.
Oh, sorry. So say that again. So they both kind of are implying but not stating that something's already there. Is that what you were saying, Autumn?
I'm looking again. I guess it's what I was saying is that it was one thing that I did appreciate about the old definition was the use of the word capacity. That it, like, even it's saying, and I also agree, like saying that helping them realize, like, I think that sounds, yeah, like we're going to bring something to you, and it doesn't recognize, it's almost like, to me, it's in contrast with each other. It's recognizing capacity, but then saying we're going to bring something. But I think what I do like about the old definition is the use of the word capacity, that that word to me seems to say that there is, like, acknowledges existence of things that are there. But I'm just kind of spitballing here, so I'd be curious to hear what other people think as well.
Where you going? Yeah, absolutely.
I agree, Autumn. I feel like, you know, it's almost double talk. You start off acknowledging the capacity, and then and let me show you what to do with this capacity. Like, let me direct you to where to go with this capacity. And you know, that's not the intent.
Yeah, I don't think it lends enough to the community itself. It talks more of, we acknowledge that there's something there, and we don't think that you can really work your way through. So here are some pointers for us to hand over to you, and you can use these as a tool. I think it's leaving quite a bit of the community's ability out, or the conversation of the community, their part as a whole.
Oh, I wanted to touch on the dream part also. Again, like, I wanted to acknowledge how using that kind of language sort of like feeds to Western notions of wellness, and like it acknowledges that there's like a dichotomy between like what wellness is like here in America, and like what like wellness, like what pathology looks like to us in terms of foreign, domestic, and like, you know, communities that are out group and in group kind of. So I guess like interrogating Western notions of like wellness and illness.
I think language around more about partnering with communities to create definitions of wellness, partnering with communities to identify strengths, partnering with communities to identify pathways to increase well-being. Yeah. That's what I always feel like is more what a community psychologist does.
Oh, okay, yeah. So let's take a look at that, where that is or is not in this proposed new definition. And the other thing about this new proposed definition that's kind of important is we're trying to also point out that, you know, when we think about the community, it isn't always a program. It isn't always a community that we want to, you know, it can also be an adversarial community. The community can be the oppressors. And they're our targets too. And we may not be partnering with them. In fact, we might be, you know, trying to make things worse for them. But I think what you're all saying in terms of that entry into a community, whether it's, you know, particularly the positive communities that we want to work with, is that it has to be kind of a total back and forth. So applying the principles of community psychology across a full scope of communities, including centers of power, where, you know, we're going to engage in more activism, where oppression sometimes has its origin, as well as communities dominated by depression, and all other spaces expressing the desire for collaboration, using a variety of methodologies with the intention of accessing and utilizing strengths to promote wellness, positive change, and or the dismantling of dominant and healthy systems. One thing I think of when I hear all of you is just kind of, there doesn't seem to be a recognition that we, the community psychologists, are benefiting and learning ourselves, and that it and that there is more reciprocity in these relationships.
And Brad, could you say a little more about when you were explaining how sometimes the oppressor might be the target?
For instance, say we think of Chicago Public Schools, that they have some bureaucratic hierarchical structures, which we all know that they do, and Sanjay, you know them well. That too is, I mean, if we're engaging with them, that's another community, but it's one that's perpetuating unjust and problematic structures. And sometimes we might be engaging in activism, for instance, anti-racist activism, to have them change policies. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like in those situations, like even if we're engaged in racist activism, in that sense, we're targeting them, for example, to change their policies, but we're still partnering with whomever we're protesting with for the well-being of the greater community, or to promote.
Because you're never really doing it alone.
Right.
We're still partnering with other communities that we are collaborating with.
But I still, for some reason, I'm not sure how to actually say it. But I feel like I'm missing the word voice. I'm looking for, the opportunity for everyone to come to the table and have a dialogue, a voice.
Like advocacy or empowerment, kind of?
I see it more as agency, because empowerment can, I feel it's a little gray, but agency to respond. And while I read this definition, I wonder, it sounds really lovely externally, but is there space to actually recognize that there's always space in the field of CP to grow?
I'm so sorry. I need to interrupt you really quickly. We're about to get zoomed back into the main room.
That was 15 minutes already.
I know. I just didn't want everyone to be like, whoa, we're moving around. So
Yeah, everyone's coming back. You ready?
heads up.
A Zoom
Thanks.
class.
Thank you.
Now, 100.
You guys are in the same room. It's hilarious. Are you alone?
Welcome back, everybody. I
Hi, Judah.
saw some good activity happening on the Padlet.